So we will start in standing, and we're going to start facing the tall side of our chair. So just go ahead and position yourself or your chair in a way that works good for you, whatever that means. And have the block handy and nearby, but if you can, just clear it out from your foot space for right now so that it is just a little out of the way. And I'm going to turn so I'm facing out to the camera. You just position yourself in the way that works best for you, but one hand on or double hands on, just to kind of take a second to find a standing position that you can ground into. So feet about hip or shoulder distance apart, soft and heavy in the knees, soft and heavy in the hips. And then if it feels okay to do so, just for a moment here, close your eyes down. Take a nice settling breath. On your next exhale, let your knees get just slightly softer and get just slightly heavier down into your feet. And then feel that solidness of the floor beneath your feet. Keeping your eyes closed if you can, but get that feeling or that sense of the walls around you, the ceiling above you, and the supportive chair nearby. So offer up a little gratitude for the safe space that you have to work in. And then before we move away from this place of stillness, set an intention here to honor your mind and your body throughout your practice, never doing anything in your practice that would cause your body pain, and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. With that intention set, gently open your eyes, and then facing the tall side of your chair, we're going to start with our little rock the baby sway. So we're just going to start to bend one knee and then the other. So we're just transferring our weight gently from side to side. One knee bends, and the other leg comes slightly straight. We just rock our weight from one foot to the other, and then just allow a slight sense of evenness in the hips. So in our standing work, a lot of our focus is going to be on where our hips are sitting. So try to think about your hips as this nice level set. So the knee bends, but the hips stay in that nice even position. Beautiful. Take one more little rock baby sway side to side, and then we're going to move it into some big giant hip circles. So you're just going to take your hips and circle them around. How big you go, that's just totally up to you, whatever range of motion feels nice. Once you've got these hip circles going on and you can kind of put them on autopilot, can you tune in and notice the movement that occurs down at your feet and your ankles? You might notice that you put a little grip in your big toe as you move in certain directions, or you might notice just a little bit more of the body weight comes into the toes. So kind of notice just that little gentle bit of movement that happens down at your feet and down at your ankles. And then as you're paying attention to your feet, take your hip circles and draw them in the other direction. Notice if that changes anything that happens down at your feet. It might be exactly the same, just going in a different direction. Great. One more big giant circle around. And now we're going to take it into some figure eights. So you're going to let one hip lead, swing around, and then up and around the other way. So think about those figure eight or that figure eight shape. And then as you do these figure eights here, we're going to think about keeping those hips in that fairly level set position. So the knee is going to bend to help make those figure eights happen. Take one more figure eight in this direction, and then when you're ready, reverse directions and go the other way. Nice. Take one more figure eight in this direction, and then when you're ready, we're going to walk it back to a down dog. So hands are going to stay on that tall side of the chair. Walk your legs back. How far back you go, that's going to be totally up to you. What feels good to you right now? And then once you found a depth of a nice supported down dog that feels good to you, take a second to just come back to your breath. Take a nice generous inhale. A slow but mindful exhale. Notice the breath coming in through your nostrils and notice the breath going out. Take one more cycle of breath. And then when you're ready, start to come up nice and slow. Bend your knees, lift your chest, gently walk yourself towards the front of your chair. And then once you've found the front end of your chair, step yourself back just a little bit so your hands have a little bit of room to move. And then we're going to find a standing mountain pose. Now, if you are working from home from your YouTube and you need to do the hand hold on your chair, you keep holding on if that is a little bit more supportive. But if you can free your hands up, take a second here to find that mountain pose. So toes and knees pointing fairly forward, feet slightly active. So we're going to lift the toes, spread the toes as wide as we can, lift from the insteps of the feet, lift that energy up the spine, up through the crown of your head, and then bring just a little bit of that energy down into your hands. Nice. And then on an inhale, sweep your arms up, look up towards the sky. Exhale, we're going to bend the knees. Hands are going to find that tall side of the chair. And now we're going to take a big step back to a down dog. So step back to that V shape. Drop your chest down, bend your knees, lift your chest, walk yourself forward, right back to that nice safe distance. You have that little bit of space between you and the chair. Come back to that mountain pose. Anchor into your feet, lift up through the crown of your head. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees just a little bit. Hands are going to find that tall side of the chair. Step back into that down dog position. So step yourself back to that V shape. Let your chest drop down. Take one good breath. And then bend your knees a lot. Lift your chest. Step your way forward just to that comfortable distance between you and the chair. Hands come back down at your sides. Nice. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees a little bit. Hands find the chair. Step back to that down dog shape. Bend your knees, lift your chest, step forward, make sure that's that space between you. Find your mountain pose. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, hands find the chair, bend your knees, step back to that down dog shape. Beautiful. Now we're going to stay in this down dog shape for a second. So just make sure your feet feel good and solid on the ground. Now we're going to pick up the left hand. Right hand's going to stay on the chair. Left hand's going to reach through across to the outside of your right thigh. And then we're going to get a little rotation. So you're going to pull against that thigh. To rotate your torso, look under your right arm, take a nice big breath. Slow breath out. Release that hand and we're going to switch to the other side. So left hand's going to find the chair, right hand's going to reach across to that left thigh, tug against that left thigh just a little bit so you can anchor into that rotation a little further. Look under your left arm. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, release. Hand is going to find the chair. Bend your knees, lift your chest, walk yourself forward. And now you can stay facing the tall side of the chair. I'm going to turn myself sideways just so that you get the visual facing out to the camera. But one hand on the chair, and we're just going to start to swing one leg forward and back. Doesn't matter which one because we're going to do both. But we're going to keep the toes and the knees pointing fairly forward. So we're going to keep the foot in that neutral position, just allowing it to kind of pendulum swing. So let it swing from the hip. A light flex in the foot so that your foot just kind of glides over the surface of the floor. Take one more little swing, and then we're going to turn the foot out. So we're going to externally rotate the leg, and then just come back to that forward and back swing. Beautiful. One more swing forward and back, and then set that foot down, and we're going to switch right over to the other leg. So toe and knee pointing forward, swing it forward and back. Nice. One more swing forward and back, and now we're going to externally rotate. So turn the toes out, keep it turned out, and swing it forward and back. Beautiful. One more swing forward and back, and now we're going to go across the midline of the body. So you position yourself so that you get a handhold on the chair, but you have room to move your leg, but we're going to swing it across the front of the body. So across the midline. Lovely. One more little swing across, and then we're going to switch right over to the other foot. So set that foot down and then take it into the other leg. Nice. One more swing across. And now we're going to go single leg, and it's going to be a hip car. So it's going to be a controlled articulated rotation. So we're going to pick up one leg. We're going to bring it across the midline of the body. And all of this happens really slow, so we pay attention to the movement. So swing it as far across the midline of the body as you have range of motion before the hip moves with you. Keep your hips stable, bring that leg across the midline of the body, hug it up nice and high, just as much rotation as you have naturally in your leg. Try to keep everything as stable as you can. Now we're going to draw that knee behind. And then once you hit that tail end, that back range of motion, now we're going to bring the knee up. Bring it across the midline of the body, but keep your hips in a fairly stable position. Swing it all the way around. How far your leg goes, that's going to look different. We all have different ranges of motion in that hip. So just make sure you go with the safe range of motion that makes sense to you. Bring it across the midline, swing it all the way around. Nice, slow, articulated movement. Nice. And then when you're ready, set that foot down, take a second, bop out your hips. I'm going to pass my chair over to the other side, but you just rearrange yourself in whatever way works good for you. Once you've got your way there, bring that leg up and across. Keep your hips fairly level so it comes across the midline of the body, up as high as feels good. Swing it around. Big rotation in the thighs. You swing it back. Nice. And then bring it forward. Draw it across the midline of the body. Open it out, circle it around, nice, slow movement here. One more time through. Beautiful. And then once you've finished that last circle, set your feet down, give your legs a little bop. And now we're going to grab our yoga block, place it down on the floor so that it's long ways. So we want to be able to place our foot on the long position, lowest setting, but long position. So once you've got your way here, we're just going to start by placing that block right between your feet, and we're going to alternate our step up. So one foot's going to step up. We're just going to pick the foot up off the ground and then switch over to the other side. So we're just gently stepping across. Once you've got that motion pattern down and you don't need to look down at your block because you know where it is, see if you can keep your gaze forward and just take a couple more times through, gently pressing up, switching to the other side. You got it. Okay, now the next time your left foot is on the block and your right foot is off. Now we're going to get our feet to a level set. So hips are even, feet are lined up. And now we're going to keep our standing leg straight. So that standing leg is not going to bend. We're going to dip the hips. So you're going to drop your right foot down so it goes past the edge of the block. And then pull the hip up and hike it up, squeeze up through the side body. But your standing leg stays straight. And I'll turn sideways just so you can see what I've got going on. So my hip drops down. And then I hike the hip up, but my standing leg stays as still as it can. All right, so that's what we're doing. We're just going to take a couple of hip dips here. So drop your hip down, hike your hip up, and take a few times through. Find a good pace that works good for you. It's going to work that standing leg, and it's going to work those side glutes of your standing leg. So if you can feel in and notice where that work is happening in your hips, and that actually might be a subtle variation. You might feel it somewhere else. One more little hip dip, and then when you're ready, we're just going to switch our legs. So you're going to step across, right foot on, left foot off, get yourself level, and then away we go, dipping the hip down and hiking the hip up. Keep your standing leg as straight as you can. Lovely. One more time through. And then when you're ready, we're going to step across again. So left foot's going to be on, right foot's going to be off. And this time we're going to bend our standing leg. So we're going to bring the foot just slightly forward so that we can see. We're going to bend the standing leg. Heel's going to tap down to the ground. Press your way back up nice and strong. Bend your standing leg. Heel touches down. Come back up nice and strong. And now take a few times through. We want to get to the point where we feel a little heat in our standing leg. A good amount of work in those quadricep muscles. So the muscles in the top of the thigh and around the knee. Nice. Take one more time through. And then when you're ready, we're going to step across, switching over to the other leg. So right foot on, left foot off. Now we bend the standing leg, heel touches down, and we come back up nice and strong. Once you got that motion pattern down, if you can, keep your gaze forward, keep a nice upright spine. Awesome. Bring just a little bit more heat into that standing leg. Take one or two more times through, and then when you're ready, step both feet off, and now we're going to walk it back to a down dog. So hands on the chair, walk yourself back. Take a second to kind of soften into that shape a little bit, wag your tail, maybe let your head drop down. Take 3 nice big breaths here. Beautiful. Soften your knees, lift yourself on up. We're going to turn our block sideways. And here's where we're just going to be a little bit mindful and careful before we get like deep into the work. So we want to make sure that our block is steady and stable underneath us. So turn your block sideways, step both feet up onto the block. So we want toes and the balls of the feet on, heels off the back edge of your block. And now we're going to let the heels drop down past the edge of the block and then lift up and squeeze through the backs of the legs as you lift up. Let your heels drop down past the edge of the block, push into the toes and the balls of the feet, lift up. Beautiful. Take a few more times through, but just want to make sure that that block is stable underneath you. If it feels real wobbly, this might not be the best position for you. So we want to make sure that you stay safe. That's the first thing. Nice. Take 1 or 2 more times up and down, just depending on what pace that you're going at. And then when you're ready, with control, step your way off of your block. We're going to move the block out of the way, and we're going to turn the chair so that we're facing the low side of the chair, and you have the ability to place one hand on the tall side of the chair. So what we want to be able to do is have sort of a side step position. And now we're going to step one leg up. We're going to come onto the blade edge of the foot. So think figure 4 position. So blade edge of the foot comes onto the chair, and the knee drops out into that external rotation. Once you've got your way there, you're just going to lean yourself forward. Think hip hinge. So we're going to hinge from the waist, lean yourself forward. Hopefully here you feel a little stretch in the outer edge of your hip or in the side of your glutes. Take one more breath. And now we're going to come up nice and slow and controlled. Keep that leg on the chair, but now we're going to add this little element of strength. So we're going to lift the leg and let it hover. Let the blade edge touch down. Lift the leg and hover. Let the blade edge touch down. Do that one more time. Lift the leg and hover. Let the blade edge touch down. We're going to fold forward one more time. So hip hinge, lean your heart forward. Take one big breath. Beautiful. And then come up nice and strong and controlled. Step that leg off. I'm going to step around to the other side, but you can just flip yourself around or whatever works good for you. Find that side step position. Step your leg up so it's externally rotated. So we're on the blade edge of the foot. The knee is out to the side. Once you've got your way here, lean your heart forward. Come back up nice and slow. Lean your heart forward. Come back up nice and slow. This time we're going to lean the heart forward. Stay there for an extra cycle of breath. Nice. And then lift up nice and slow and controlled, but keep that leg on the chair externally rotated. And we're going to lift up. So we're going to lift that leg, hover, lower it back down, lift the leg up and hover. Beautiful. Lower it back down. Do that one more time. Lift the leg and hover. Lower it down, hinge from your waist, lean your heart forward. Take a cycle of breath. Nice. And then come up nice and slow and controlled. Lift that leg off. Take a second to bop out anything that needs to. And then we're going to grab our toe booty band and we're going to come down into a seated position. So get yourself so that you can sit down and place your band around your big toes. So we're going to take that toe band or your rubber band if you're working from YouTube. One that comes around your broccoli will do the trick. Take your band, wrap it around your 2 big toes. Make sure it's flush. So if it gets any little wrinkles or if it gets twisted up, just get it to where it's flush. And then we're going to start by bringing the feet in nice and close to each other. We're just going to lean forward a little bit so we can look down at our toes and keeping the feet hugged in towards each other. So I think insteps are kind of hugging up against each other just as much as feels reasonable to you. Now you're just going to lift your toes, spread your toes just a little bit. You want to feel a little bit of activation in the toes, but we're going to focus on keeping the big toes solid. And now we're just going to pull the big toes. So think big toe and that little knuckle, that big toe mound, that right where that little knuckle underneath the big toes. So we're going to think pull the big toes and the knuckle away from each other. Keep your big toes nice and solid, and then let them come back in gently. Pull the big toes and the knuckle away from each other. let them come back in with control. Pull the big toes away and let them come back in. Now we're going to pull the big toes away, hold that position. Can you step your heels away as well? So now we're keeping about an inch, maybe 2 centimeters in between the feet. And now we're going to go big toes up, big toes down. We're going to keep the 4 toes as strong and solid as we can. And we're just moving the big toes up and the big toes down. What your other toes do, just as long as it feels like you're in control of the movement and everything feels nice and active and the toes aren't being just kind of pulled away from each other all willy-nilly. So we want to keep the feet strong and solid, big toes lift and lower down. Take about 2 or 3 more times here. We're just trying to find that control and strength. And then we're going to sit up just a little bit taller. Heels are going to come forward. We're still going to maintain that little bit of space between the big toes and the knuckles. And now we're going to keep our feet as solid as we can and just a light pedaling through the feet. So one ball of the foot is going to press down and then the other, but we're still going to try to maintain that sense of solidness between the toes. So as the toes are pulled away from each other, we keep those big toes as active as we can. Nice. Take 1 or 2 more pedals of each feet, just depending on what pace you're going. And then when you're ready, bring your feet back in, soften them down, lean yourself forward, grab that band from around your toes. And then once you've got the band off your toes, just give your toes and your feet a nice little wiggle, jiggle them around. And then set your toe band somewhere safe so you don't lose track of it. And then once you've got it somewhere safe, just let your feet rest gently on the floor. Let your hands rest on your thighs. Close your eyes down for just a moment. Notice your feet. Notice your hips, notice your back. Beautiful. We're going to slide the hands forward, catch hold of the knees, move right into a seated cat-cow. Inhale, lift your heart, lift your chin. Exhale, round your back, round your shoulders. Inhale and lift your heart. Exhale and round your back. Take 3 more cycles of breath here. Just move with your breath's rhythm. And then once you've completed that last cycle of breath, find a nice tall neutral spine and we're going to move right into a seated twist. So right hand's going to find the left knee, left hand goes to the back of the chair, high side of the chair, low side of the chair, just whatever handhold is more comfortable. Take 1 more breath. And then when you're ready, release that twist and take it over to the other side. Beautiful. When you're ready, release, come back to center, taking it right into a side bend. So left hand's going to touch down to the side of the chair. Right hand's going to reach up. Think lift and lengthen through the side body and then tip over. Awesome. Lift up with control, switch right over to the other side. Think lift and lengthen and then tip over. Nice. When you're ready, lift up with control. Find your seated mountain pose. Scoot your butt forward so you have plenty of room to move. And then once you feel like you've got your nice solid position, that nice seated mountain pose, inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. This time we're going to interlace the fingers, flip the palms, press them forward, soften your shoulders down. And then once you've got that nice bit of space, we're going to press into the arms, pull the heart backwards, round through the back of the body. So as we push the palms forward, we round through the back, pushing as far forward and rounding through the back just as much as you can find. And then take a nice big breath. Breathe into the space between the shoulder blades. Unround the back, keep the fingers interlaced, soften your elbows, arms are going to come up and overhead. And then once you've got your shoulders past that point that they can snuggle into, press your palms up towards the ceiling, pull the ribs in towards each other so we keep that nice solid center. And then once you've found that solid center, push up through the palms, shoulders drop down, close your eyes down just for a moment here and notice that big sensation up into the fingers, up into the palms, all the way down your arms, into the shoulder blades. Take 1 more breath. Lovely. Open your eyes, unlace your fingers, float your hands down, roll the shoulders down and back, find your seated mountain again. Nice. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold, hands glide up positions. Exhale to soften all the way down. Pull the abdominal muscles in, roll up through the spine. Roll your shoulders up to your ears, around, down, and back. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Right hand's going to find the left shin. Left hand's going to reach up for a twist. Release that hand down. We're going to slide up the shin. Bring your knee up to your chest. Bring your nose to your knee. Take a light little squeeze. And then we're going to hold on to that knee. Grab the heel. Externally rotate and bring it right into your figure four. Once you've got your figure four, hinge from your waist. Lean your heart forward. Come up nice and slow and controlled. And we're going to do that again. Hinge from your waist. Lean your heart forward. Come up nice and slow and controlled. We're going to do that one more time. Hinge from your waist. Lean your heart forward. Come up slow and controlled and rotate slightly towards your knee. So once you've got your slight rotation, pull your knee up towards your heart, push your knee away. Pull your knee towards your heart, push your knee away. Do that one more time. Pull the knee towards your heart, push the knee away, and then we're going to rotate to that neutral position, grab the leg, lift it up, and then just rock it a little bit side to side. Beautiful. One more little rock side to side, and then we're going to gently set that foot down. Find your seated mountain pose again. Once you've got your mountain pose, inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, left hand over to the right shin, right hand reaches for a twist. Beautiful. Release that hand down, slide up the shin, bring the knee to the chest, bring your nose to your knee. Lift up just slightly and then grab the heel so we externally rotate, bring it right into your figure four position. Once you've got your way there, lean your heart forward. Come back up nice and slow. Lean your heart forward. Come back up nice and slow. Do that one more time. Lean your heart forward. Come back up nice and slow. Rotate just slightly so you're facing towards your knee. Pull your knee towards your heart and push your knee away. Pull the knee towards your heart and push it away. Do that one more time. Pull the knee towards your heart. Push it away. Rotate towards the front. Grab the leg, lift it up, and then just give it a little rock side to side. Nice. One more little rock side to side, and then with control, gently set that leg down. Take a second to make sure both feet feel solid on the ground, but feel solid in the chair. We're going to take the left arm, bring it across the midline of the body. Grab the back of the arm, and then think about dropping the shoulder down. Once you've got that shoulder drop down, you're just going to tuck your chin gently towards your chest. Notice the muscles in the back of your neck. Notice the muscles between your shoulder blades. One more breath. Lift your head up, release your handhold from the back of the arm. We're going to open the arm out nice and wide, like somebody's giving you a big wide high five. So you're going to pull the arm all the way back, get that big drawback of the arm opening through that heart space and through the armpit chest, and then release it to a more neutral position and give that hand a good vigorous shake. Shake it all the way down to the fingertips. Feel that bit of shake coming up into your shoulders. You might even notice it in your hair a little bit. Take one more big shake, and then when you're ready, we're going to take it right over to the other side. Bring the arm across the body, hug it in, drop the shoulder down. Once you've got your arm in good position, tuck your chin down to your chest and then tune in. Notice the muscles in the back of your neck, in between the shoulder blades. Beautiful. When you're ready, lift your head, release your arm, open it out nice and wide, pull it back so we get that big high five situation. And then when you're ready, release to a more neutral position and then just give that hand a really good shake. Nice. Once you feel like that hand has been good and shaken out, set that hand down and we're just going to take it into some light little tick-tocks of the head side to side. So think ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. Keep your shoulders as relaxed as you can. Let most of this movement come out of those muscles in the side of the neck. One more little tick-tock of the head side to side. And then as your head comes to a neutral position, we're going to keep the head fairly neutral and draw little micro circles in the air with our nose. Small, gentle, mindful circles. So it's not huge range of motion. We're not doing those head cars. We're not going full range of motion. Small, gentle, mindful movement here. You can start to close your eyes down if it feels good to do so. Beautiful. Take one more circle around, and then when you're ready, take those circles and go in the other direction. Nice. One more circle around, and then let your head come to stillness and start to bring yourself back in your seat. Sit back in your chair or come down onto the ground and kick your legs over your chair, whatever Shavasana might feel really good to you this morning. Take the time to find a shape that might feel really beneficial. And then allow yourself just a little bit of time to kind of settle into that shape. So if you throw your legs over your chair, just make sure your feet feel like they have a good place to land. The chair is supporting the backs of your calves. Your tailbone feels good. Your shoulder blades feel good. Your yoga costume is in its appropriate place, and your hair feels like it's in a happy position. And then once you've got your way there, with each exhale, just let your body get a little softer, a little bit heavier, a little bit more letting go. You always have the option to stay in your Shavasana just as long as you like. But if you feel ready to do so, start to bring some gentle movement into your body. Maybe start to just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, move your feet around a little bit, move your ankles, move your hands around a little bit, move your wrists. If you're laying down on your back, it might feel good to just stretch your arms up and overhead, like the top half of your body is taking that nice, big, good morning stretch. And then when you feel ready, slowly and mindfully start to bring yourself all the way up to a standing position. So take your time as you come out and away from that Shavasana, and then use your chair to help support as you come up. And once you've found that big standing position, take that time now to take it into that big good morning stretch, like a reach. So we're going to press down into the heels, stretch your arms up and overhead, lift your head open through your heart space just a little bit. Take that big yawning stretch. Take a nice big breath back into your body. And then when you're ready, float your hands down, stack them right on top of your heart. Close your eyes or just gently soften your gaze, bowing your head to your heart, breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and for all of your hard work. And breathe in a little extra love and gratitude that you can carry with you through the rest of your day and share with everyone you see. And then when you feel ready, gently lift up through the top of your head, release your hands, give your body a whole good bounce and a shake, get that energy back into your body and bring it with you through the rest of your day. You guys are amazing. Happy Wednesday.